You can see these shorts from the moon. They're developed by NASA. That's why I'm so fast. It's plugging at 539.
I'm getting hungry. Noon, I slept until like 10:30 and then just kind of sat on my phone for a long time. I weighed myself, 93.4 kilograms, which comes in at just under 206 pounds. And then I actually figured out how to adjust the units on the scale. So I actually weighed in at like just over 206 pounds according to I don't know, whatever works. All that matters is I've lost 2 pounds in the last 5 days, which is great. I kind of expected the first week is like the most dramatic. When I had a lot more weight to lose, I lost even more weight than that in the first week. So it's good, it's encouraging to see, okay, it's working. And I actually don't really want to cheat today, but today is supposed to be my cheat day. And the reason that I think cheat days are important to keep is because it reminds your body that it is in fact not starving. So it does not go into like a starvation mode of any kind and just start conserving fat. So I think it's important to do it. That's a whole debate. There are a lot of people that don't think it is. Whatever. It's also good psychologically, but today, the meal that we're gonna be having tonight is why I was like, well, today will be my cheat day because we're gonna eat cake and have like lamb and tortilla chips for the starter and booze, and it will be very calorie heavy, so it needs to be my cheat day today. But for lunch, what do I do for my cheat day? I don't know. I'm gonna go get coffee, I'm gonna eat a banana, and then, we'll figure it out from there. I wanna write today. I'm gonna try and stay in the apartment, and we're gonna talk about making this apartment a chateau, right? The pink bottle up there is Room to Chateau, turning this place into my own little castle. So I figured I'd kind of tell you guys specifically what I'm planning to do there, and how I'm gonna break that down into some goals, which will also force me to think a little bit more about it. But first, banana, coffee, and a walk, and maybe lunch.
Again.
I don't know. Have my tastes already changed? Can I not drink cappuccinos and lattes anymore? Is this how it happens? Is this how you become a coffee snob? Oh no. Oh no. Oh. It's still delicious. They make a really good cappuccino. So I probably should have bought food. I just like decided to walk straight back. I'm gonna try and write for like an hour. And then I need to get food for sure. I downloaded Fire and Fury like first thing this morning, and it's already really good. It feels like one of the interesting things about it, because it sold out like within 20 minutes in bookstores everywhere pretty much. And I think one of the most interesting things about it is like, I never jump in on those things like this, like that sell out right away, that everybody's reading, that everybody's talking about. So I kind of thought, I'm not gonna talk about it on the vlog, but I thought I just wanted to be a part of this and actually know, because you can imagine the people that are actually in this book are reading this book right now at the same time that I am. Just fascinating to like be reading history pretty much just after it happened. It's really weird. And it actually brings kind of a level of calm to the madness for me. What probably sounds a little bit weird, but reading this is kind of putting some distance between myself and our current political nightmare. I don't know, it just makes it feel a little bit more like history. It's almost soothing to read this, even, I don't know. What do you guys, if you're reading it, let me know what you think. I'm not trying to start a book club around this, but the great irony, as Stephen Colbert put it, is that Trump accidentally created a national book club by trying to get the book banned, so it's pretty fascinating already, and I'm only in the prologue. Like I said before, I try to avoid talking about politics or anything like that on the vlog, but it is like the national bestseller. Like, I didn't even have to search for it. I just scrolled down once in my Kindle and it was right there. So I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll be more heartbreaking than helpful, but so far it's like, I don't know what it is. Putting it in the context of like a narrative, just kind of like, well, it's history now, which means we survived it, which means, oh yeah, it's still going on. That's the part you don't want to remember. Anyways, speaking of books, I'm gonna write for a little bit and then we'll talk about turning this place into a chateau probably after I've eaten a really greasy and nasty lunch. I just destroyed that. I didn't even think to film it. Chicken kebab, basically, and fries, and a Coke. Just a basic lunch, really. I'm doing a really bad job at this whole cheat day thing. I hope tonight turns out better. Only problem is I need to buy like tomatoes and stuff. I'm gonna make a pico de gallo tonight as our starter for dinner. The only issue is I don't have my shopping bag with me, so carrying all of this stuff, because I want to buy stuff for me too, juggle it on the way home. There's no way this ends in disaster. Now, I've already done a tour of my apartment before, so if you want to see that, I can link to that, whichever side that gets linked to. I'm not gonna do like a comprehensive review of what's in here, but basically, and the light is definitely done. It's just like the physical, the switch is broken. It's a 50, 60-year-old lamp. It's to be expected. Bound to happen to the best of us. But I do kind of want to talk about what I'm thinking, what I'm picturing, and what I do have on hand. I have this space here, right? This is my room. The ceilings have got to be like 12 feet tall, which is why I feel like this section right here could be an elevated bed. And there is a company here in Paris that makes like custom mezzanine beds, what they call mezzanine beds, elevated beds. If I could get it up and high enough that I could actually walk underneath it, then I could put a couch or at least a love seat right here and have space to sit and read, put little lights underneath here, little LED lights, and voila, you've created a little reading nook for yourself. And on the other wall, put like a screen of some sort. If I ever have time to watch movies again, that screen could go right here. Theoretically, it could be great. But this whole area right here would be like a little cubby. That means, of course, that this back corner becomes the computer corner. Gotta shift that over. This desk is pretty much useless. I mean, at least it acts kind of like a tiny little table right now, and it holds my bananas and the hot water kettle that I never use, but this would kind of have to go. And I'm thinking, I have different thoughts of how exactly to lay it out, but that's something that I need to keep messing with. Everything would kind of be based around this huge bed that would be right here, because then I'd have like tons of space up there, like this whole thing would be cleared. The reason I haven't gotten rid of these beds, even though I don't sleep in them, is because when I do have guests, like I've said before, they're okay for a couple nights sleep. I don't have guests very often though, so the main reason these are here is actually as a shelf. Like right now I've got my salsa makings sitting there waiting to go to tonight's, party away, cans and avocados and stuff. But otherwise, that's all this serves as, is a shelf. And it also serves as kind of a tempting place to put stuff for later, like clean clothes without folding them. It's dangerous. So I want to get rid of this, and I want to get rid of some stuff across the hall. I pretty much never come in here with the camera because, it's boring. The acoustics in here are better though. And it could be a great place to create, I'd have to put in some sound panels, but this could be a great place to make a little recording studio. The thing is that there's a bunch of stuff in here that's like, it's just like old toys and stuff. Like you'll see this little inflatable goose here. Some stuff like that. There's not much in here. Like these wardrobes, these little zippable wardrobes are empty except for some random stuff that I put in here. Oh, like my Cubs hat. Totally forgot that was in there. And a pair of socks I didn't know was in there either. Apparently I ran out of room for socks. So I've got some old socks and like my Seahawks jersey and my America suit. That's the kind of stuff that ends up in here. I only need one of these, if I need one of them. I probably should keep one of them. But I could clear out a bunch of this stuff because I have another space that I could put them that my landlady gave me the key to. It's the 2-car garage underneath the building that is completely empty. And that's where originally I was gonna put the beds. There's a debate going on. I don't know if I'm supposed to just throw the beds away or not. I'm planning on just putting the beds down there. But I could put a lot of this stuff down there too. Nice and safe, locked away. And then this whole space actually becomes magical. You'll see that I have this tiny, speaking of 60-year-old things, have this tiny little fridge in here that is holding up, but I only have the one outlet. So when I want to microwave stuff, I've got to swap them out. And I'm just not sure how much that outlet can handle. I feel like I should just plug in stuff until it breaks. There's also this old shower. This isn't old actually, this is new comparably. She put in this like multi-feature shower head in the shower, and for some reason they thought that was the reason that it was like backing up or something. I don't know. It was great. I liked it while I had it, but that'll also go in the garage. We should go check out the garage. Just to make sure I can even find it still. Automatically rises like that. Spider rubbed me again. Spiderwebs everywhere. Look at all this space. I mean, you wouldn't want to hang out in here too long. It's kind of dirty, and also there are lots of spiders. But I brought a Vans shoebox just to give you a sense of scale at the size of this place. Is that out of frame? I feel I might be out of frame. Yeah, I think I can fit some stuff in there, which is really handy because I got some stuff to fit in here.
Once again.
So there you have it. I got storage space. The thing is that across the hall is technically storage space, but like it can be put to real use, and it just feels crowded and awkward. And I do try to cut up vegetables in there sometimes, but nah, I think it's time to empty that and turn it into something else, right? If nothing else, I could at least bundle up the cables and extra bits and whatever I've got going on. Organize myself. I'll need some tools, but you know, get stuff put together, feeling nice and organized, like I have a little bit of a life. The huge hang up for it is that, and the reason that I'm having a really hard time committing to that, uh-oh, somebody's coming down the ramp.
Scatter! Run!
But as I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted, man, it's so dark in here. That's gotta change. The problem for me is more that I'm still in limbo. Like, I'm here legally. I'm here on my visa. Odds are very good I'm gonna be able to stay, but it's so hard to get over that fact that I'm still not 100% guaranteed to be here. And that makes it really hard to invest too much time, energy, and especially money into making a place your home when you could just get kicked out shortly thereafter. That's probably the biggest psychological hang up, and I really appreciate everybody's positivity about it, and I know you guys are really excited and don't think that there's any possibility that I could get kicked out of this country. And odds are good, you're right. Odds are good that I will be fine and I'm not gonna get kicked out anytime soon. At the same time, like next week, I have to go back into the prefecture, and I don't mean to work myself up into a fervor, but that's definitely like this huge, like, it's the one remaining background stressor that's inducing ulcers. And once we get past that barrier, I feel like I'm gonna be on a really good stretch. Like, I think things are very much on the upswing and life is really taking some amazingly positive turns. So I don't want to minimize that, but at the same time, boy, it is challenging to be thinking too much in terms of a future when you're not sure if you're going to be able to stay in the country, you know what I mean? So that is probably the biggest hang up there. That said, I'm really looking forward to transforming this space and making it my own. That's another one of the big hangups, has been that when I first moved in here, because as I mentioned, my landlady refuses to accept rent, she also originally kind of looked at me like a little bit suspiciously, like, you're not gonna end up being some sort of a freeloader, are you? And I should probably tell that whole story at some point. But over time, she came to think of this as my place. And she's actually one of the warmest and most supportive people. She's one of my biggest patrons by far. The ability to use this tiny little apartment all on my own, it's mine, is a huge gift, and I'm so grateful for it. But because at the beginning, it was very much a temporary thing that happened to turn into a permanent thing, it's taken me years to get over that temporary feeling and feeling like I might not be able to stay here for any given period of time. And so even though this is my permanent residence now, I still don't fully feel like it is. So I think that redoing this place and making it my home and getting rid of like the chair that shreds my shirts and things like that, and turning this into a space that I think is more utilitarian and comfortable and just generally me, I think will go a really long ways to help me feel more stable here in Paris, and I think that'll make a huge difference. So those are kind of the two things that are like I'm fighting internally right now, is the potential that the prefecture doesn't let me stay for some reason, and just that old lingering feeling that this really isn't my home, even though this is my home. I gotta overcome both of those things, but I can't do that by staying stagnant, and I can't do that by things staying the same. Things are going to a certain degree, they're moving forward, but I need there to be change. I also just need to get rid of like all of this old furniture that's falling apart. Like the dresser drawers don't always open, and this thing just, I think it's a sewing desk, but I don't have a sewing machine, so most of it's just basically a table with one functional drawer. You get the idea. We're gonna make changes. I'm gonna draw it all out. Running out of daylight. We'll see what we can manage. Also tonight, I was thinking maybe I should go have a beer and a brasserie on my way to the evening's events, because that won the food poll for this week, but maybe I should save that for tomorrow night, so I'm not feeling like I'm in a rush when I'm there. We shall decide shortly. Yeah, I think I'll just call it a wrap here. We'll get in deeper detail about everything I want to do here. One of the things I forgot to mention is that that company that makes custom beds for this, I'm kind of hoping to reach out to them and be like, hey you guys, like your bed will be in pretty much every YouTube video I make in Paris forever. Want to give me one? We'll see if that works. I think I'm still too small to make a deal like that, but I'm gonna try. Just be like, hey, it'll always be here. I think it'd be really fun to set up the space below to like shoot in as well and sit and talk. There's a lot of fun. Like I think we could really change things up in here and have a good time with it. So pretty excited. I will end on a shot of the food from the evening, but otherwise probably just gonna leave it here.